Hey audience, it's me,
Digimon. It's like somebody saw Pokemon and said, what if it had abs? As many of you guys know, I am a big Digimon fan. What started off as a Tamagotchi spinoff that could battle each other became this really cool franchise that has remained cool over the years because it's as close to popular as it can get without entering the mainstream. Unsubscribe now because I'm all about avoiding the mainstream. But please don't, I need to eat. Admission time, before I played a couple hours of Cyber Sleuth, I had never actually played a Digimon game. Ever. As a kid, Digimon games were really hard to come by. I didn't own a PlayStation until I was much older, so every single Digimon game that I could get was for a Nintendo console. And they must have had very limited printings because even when I'd be aware of a new Digimon game coming out, whenever I'd finally have money to go buy it, it would always be sold out everywhere. I would try to go on eBay or Slamazon to buy a used copy, but Digimon games rarely sell for below $60. And as a kid, just wanting to try one of these games, it wasn't really worth it. However, seeing people get excited for some of the more recent Digimon games has encouraged me to go check out this giant back catalog of games that I've never played before, including the first Digimon home console release, Digimon World. Being early on in Digimon's life as a franchise, Digimon World shared a lot in common with the original V-Pets. While the Digimon V-Pet shares many mechanics with Tamagotchi, it's unique because you can also train your Digimon's fighting ability to challenge another player's Digimon. I can't remember the last time I was excited to see one thing plug into another thing. Digimon World is a slow grind. Most of the game is raising a Digimon from its earliest stage and hoping to fulfill the right care requirements to watch it transform into cool and powerful Digimon. But sometimes you just get a shit-eating slug. But what can we really do as parents? Aside from care, Digimon World features a Digimon World, a world filled with other Digimon. You, the player character, must take your checkered Vans, yellow hoodie, and Crunchyroll beanie and create a society in which all Digimon may live together in peace. So let's take a look at a game that broke my brain because although it's really charming, it's also charming enough to mask how frustrating it is. It's Digimon World.
Oh boy, I'm sure happy I have $1. I can't wait to use this $1 to pay for goods and services.
I'll be taking that $1. This is a hacking.
Oh, I should have used ExpressVPN.
Yes, you should have, me. Sending data over the internet without the use of a VPN is like sending a postcard through the mail. The dozens or so people that have access to it shouldn't be looking at the information that's on it. But what's really stopping them? My bank account details and password. A virtual private network creates a secure tunnel between your device and the internet. So it's essentially like putting an envelope around your data, making it that much harder for hackers to steal your personal info.
ExpressVPN!
If you've ever connected your device to public Wi-Fi, you have permitted everyone else connected to that network to come and steal your data. I never connect to a public network without first connecting to a VPN. I wouldn't want to be silly, would I? ExpressVPN is just so easy to use and it only uses premium servers, making them consistently faster than any other VPN providers. I just hit connect in the app, and boom, I'm secure. ExpressVPN is rated #1 by publications like CNET, The Verge, Wired, Tech Radar, and many more. And with its ease of use and 24-hour customer support, it's not hard to see why. So find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by clicking the link in the description or going to expressvpn.com/Billiam. Thank you again to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. Digimon World was released in January 1999 in Japan and May of 2000 in North America. It released just over a year and a half after the first Virtual Pet and 2 months before the Digimon Adventure anime premiered. And you start with one of 4 Digimon in the middle of File City. File City is run by Digimon, who remembers when File City used to be a place where Digimon could live peacefully, but some mysterious force has separated all the Digimon in the land and wiped out their memories. You, with your Digimon, who I hope you also named Uwumon, must traverse the island to recruit Digimon to help build File City. Just like the Digimon V-Pets, Digimon have 5 stages: baby, in training, rookie, champion, and ultimate, and just like a real child, you can screw them up at any life stage. Later, Digimon Media would add Mega as a 6th and final stage, but here it's absent. All this talk about Mega and Ultimate Digimon is making me sound like a Mega Ultimate dork, so from here on out, I'm going to be referring to Digimon's evolutionary stages as their number rather than their official names. Raising Digimon is the bulk of the game. Uwumon here is my always dying, ever reincarnating child. The game runs on a simulated 24-hour clock that moves at an hour per real real-life minute. But certain actions like sleeping and training take up more time in-game, like falling asleep takes seconds in real life but hours in the game. Each Digimon's lifespan is only a couple of days, but it gets increased as they transform to higher stages. When they die, they reincarnate into another egg, it hatches, and you start the process all over again. Digimon don't evolve linearly like that Digimon ripoff that came out a year and a half before Digimon. Instead, Digimon evolution is like a branching and reconnecting stream, just like real evolution. Get out of here, outdated linear model of evolution. I just learned about this on PBS Eons. What Digimon your Digimon will digivolve into depends on how you raise it. Including the 4 base Digimon, the game's evolution chart has 65 mons to raise in total. Once the Digimon reaches the end of their life, they will digi-die unless they meet specific criteria for evolution, and every Digimon in the game has its own unique criteria, even Big Brainmon here. Let's talk stats. Evolution criteria involves these statistics, but don't worry about outliers, standard deviation, or statistical significance. The only thing I find significant is Angelwamon, occasionally Zudomon, and neither of them are in this game. A Digimon's stats are divided into 2 broader categories. First is health, which measures the Digimon's age, weight, happiness, discipline, and virus meter, and the other is battle stats, which measure hit points, mana, offense, defense, speed, and brains. Health stats are affected by how you take care of your Digimon. The Digimon needs to sleep, eat, have its weight managed, and be treated for wounds and sickness. If you ignore these needs, you'll make a care mistake, which can affect your evolutionary potential. Some evolutions, like Greymon, can only have 1 care mistake, and some, like Mamemon, need at least 15 care mistakes. I hate intentionally making care mistakes. This game works. I have an emotional connection to the little Digimon on the screen, and I hate ignoring its needs, and I hate scolding it when I have to scold it. Why do you make me do this, game? It's cruel. Different kinds of food sustain your Digimon for different periods of time, but may affect their weight. Meat makes Digimon gain weight, while mushrooms can help them lose weight. Most evolution criteria requires that you keep your Digimon within a certain 10-pound window. Happiness affects a Digimon's life expectancy, and discipline affects how well they'll listen to you. Scolding or praising increases one stat while inversely lowering the other, unless the Digimon won't eat whatever item you're trying to give it. Then, scolding raises both. The best way to get these stats up is to force feed your Digimon medicine until it doesn't want it anymore. You scold and both happiness and discipline go up. Medicine that'll make you disciplined. Am I giving my Digimon Ritalin? The virus meter is raised when you don't take your Digimon to a bathroom when it needs to use the bathroom. It just goes. Okay, all over the map. The only way to clean up the poop is to raise either a Numamon or a Sukamon who will, well, yeah. Taking the more humanoid Digimon to a bathroom is just so odd. It's just like the body of a full-grown adult needing to be taken to the bathroom and just going right in front of you. Next are battle stats, which affect how your Digimon performs in battle, but once again, they're also tied to evolution criteria, so you can't just max out offense and speed and kick everyone's ass unless you're raising a Leomon. The man himself. He's dead. Battle stats are raised by either battling your Digimon or through training at the green gym next to File Island. Battling takes more real life time, but less in-game time, where training stations can increase specific stats instantaneously, but each training session takes up an in-game hour. Training also doesn't earn you money like battling does and makes your Digimon hungrier faster. I found myself strapped for cash a lot because I prefer training to battling, and you can't just mindlessly press X over and over again to train because that's a really easy way to make care mistakes. Training is just... so much of the game is training. Trying to evolve a Digimon without explicit guidance sounds like a nightmare. These stat requirements are so specific, I can't imagine how anyone would try to complete the chart without a guide, which, oh boy, is why I'm glad I bought the official strategy guide. But like most self-help parenting books, it does nothing. It's littered with wrong information about the game. Imagine spending hours as a kid trying to get Metal Greymon only to get a Numamon, all because the official strategy guide lies to you. I mean, I don't blame the author. I can't imagine having to learn about a game this in-depth to be able to write the official strategy guide on it. That sounds like a nightmare, especially for a game like this. Not to mention, the maps are completely unlabeled. Oh, well, not completely. They do have A, B, and C letter points marked, but without any guide to what events those correspond to. Not to mention, they're just incomplete. It's not completely useless, though. Recruiting Digimon can kind of seem like a fool's errand without direction, and the guide does provide a good checklist. But despite not wanting to navigate the world without some direction, I love the world in Digimon World, albeit I got a lot of direction. It's the perfect size for this kind of game. It's big, but still small enough to be super memorable. Of course, when there's a big old fella like this hanging around, you're bound to remember it. From Toy Town, Misty Trees, and the Gear Savannah, and some of the music is just... I can't get enough of it. Especially the 2 main battle themes and the Gear Savannah theme, I love it. It's the kind of game that's designed to be played and discovered for an obnoxious period of time, the kind of free time you only really ever had as a kid. If I were a kid playing this, I'd be drawing maps, creating evolution charts, and checklists of Digimon I have already recruited, but I'm an adult, so YouTube video walkthroughs it is. Having not played a lot of Digimon games, I always wondered why there were so many Digimon that were just recolors of others, but I guess my answer is here. They needed a variety of different enemies, but didn't want to design new Digimon. It's not Agumon, it's Ice Agumon. It's not Gabumon, it's Psychmon. It's not Betamon, it's my whole heart. Betamon really, really good. The goal of the game is to build File City. You do that by traveling around the island to recruit other Digimon who all join the city to expand its infrastructure. Some are really easy to recruit, like the Digimon inside the forest surrounding File City. You just beat them in a fight and they come join. But others are only available at certain times of day, like Seedramon, who you have to catch fishing, have a rare spawn rate like Piximon, who has a 3% chance of showing up in this exact location, or have to be rescued like Shellmon. Battling in Digimon World can either be incredibly easy or impossible, but it's always like really obnoxious. Unlike a traditional RPG, you don't control your Digimon's actions. Rather, you give it commands and it occasionally listens. As your Digimon gets smarter, it learns new moves and you get new commands, but no matter what you give me, it's like not getting better. So often the Digimon just stands there, and no matter how many times you hit attack or give a specific attack command, it just sits. Like, watch this, my Leomon can easily one-hit KO this red Vegemon. But it just doesn't matter because most of the time Leomon just stands there, and when it's not Leomon's decision to just stand there, they get a status affliction and it just slows everything down. I find progress in this game to be really satisfying. Watching File City get built up with new infrastructure, filling out the evolution chart, and watching a Digimon you raised with your blood transform is really satisfying. However, that high reward comes with one of the most stressful examples of a game with high consequences. Your Digimon's lifespan is this ticking clock, and utilizing what time you have with the Digimon well can be a really stressful decision-making process. You can probably beat the game without ever raising a Digimon to Ultimate, the 5th stage, but it's fun to do. But you'll be spending most of that Digimon's lifespan training, so while you get this stronger, cooler Digimon, it's not like you get to use it to knock off a bunch of boss battles. You realistically only get a few tasks with each highly trained Digimon, really. And pro gamers who have been playing this game for over 20 years, if your pro gamer skills allow you to pro gamer through the game with only one Digimon, then congratulations, you're a pro gamer. That was not my experience. I found myself getting really stressed when a Digimon was close to death, like really, really stressed. Is there even a point of trying to get something done? Traversing this world eventually becomes such a hassle, and while there is fast travel, it's a premium fee, one-way fast travel from File City to any location. A lot of the game is just walking back to File City because it's the only place you can heal without items or before your Digimon needs to sleep. And it's the only place to buy a variety of different items for a decent price. And if your Digimon loses 3 battles, it dies. So entering any fight feels like life or death because you can lose hours and hours of training if you are beaten. Birdramon here took about 3 Digimon to beat, and it's not like I finally just trained a Digimon that could handle Birdramon. Literally every piece of advice I see on this game tells you to just stock up on healing items. The only way to get through a boss is to keep throwing heal items at your Digimon just constantly. I mean, why would I do it any other way? I don't want to risk losing a Digimon I spent hours and hours training. I'm only willing to risk a Digimon I spent a few hours training. A hard boss in Digimon World isn't hard because you have to increase your skill level. It's hard because it takes a long time to train a Digimon that strong or to grind enough battles to be able to afford premium healing items. That's not difficulty in a skill set sense, that's difficulty because it tests your patience. But then again, I don't really mind the grinding for the training and the raising evolution process. I guess I find that to be more rewarding. Turns out my personal taste isn't always consistent. The Ogre Dungeon. I kept not buying enough heal items to make it to the end of the Digimon, so I would have to walk back to File City, and I lost a few Digimon because traversing the world while avoiding battles can be really hard. Well, when you have the whole screen zoomed out, it's easy, but too much of the game is all the way zoomed in. I can't see anything. As the city grows, your ability to raise Digimon becomes more and more efficient. You can recruit Kabuterimon and Kuwagamon from Beetle Land, and they'll upgrade the gym equipment to be more effective. Then you can also recruit some plant Digimon to upgrade the meat farm to be able to grow fatter cuts of meat. The final Veggie recruit Vegemon also sells food that increases training. Vegemon over here pushing supplements. Probably has CEO in his Facebook bio. As you practice raising Digimon, the intense number of criteria for certain evolutions start to feel less and less intense. I finally feel like I got the hang of this game. You start to pick up on ways to shorten the process, like saving stat-raising chips for certain Digimon, strategizing training requirements to maximize primary and secondary effects, and being comfortable with making a few care mistakes early on because care mistakes don't transfer from evolution to evolution. And the first few stages are really easy to evolve to. It's like Bodemon. I know you've just been born and you've come into this world scared and hungry, but you must experience the crushing weight of this waterfall right now, because this world isn't fair, and the sooner you learn that lesson, the sooner I can get Monochromon. I'm just a parent, living vicariously through my child. I could have been a Monochromon. I love filling out the evolution chart. It makes the part of my brain that gets happy from filling out charts happy. But also, utilizing different Digimon in this game has made me appreciate the non-partner Digimon from Digimon. For years, my favorites have really only been the main partners from the anime, but being partnered with Monochromon, Seadramon, Mamemon, Betamon, my best pal Betamon here, it makes my taste in Digimon expand a little bit more, and appreciate some of these creature designs that I've never really given a passing glance to. Oh, you mean you don't like Monochromon? Can't say I don't blame you. You don't come into this world appreciating a T-Rex head with a little tail, a horn, and 4 stubby legs. Monochromon is an acquired taste. Wow. Gabumon here needed a 95 discipline to evolve to Garurumon, so I fed him some happiness mushrooms, which automatically raises happiness so I can afford to scold him a few times to get that 95 discipline. After just under an hour, I have Garurumon. Check. Now let's try to get Mega Seadramon. I do my best to raise Garurumon for an hour straight while making no care mistakes because you're barely allowed to have any for this evolution. And then, after reaching all the qualified stats to get Mega Seadramon, I spent the next few days just keeping Garurumon at the right weight. Finally, the time has come for evolution and... Garurumon died? All that work was gone. I stopped playing the game for a few weeks after that. I questioned YouTube as a profession. I read a book. I lived a slightly better life. Got back into a regular exercise routine, made a schedule. I was being productive. I started working on a different video, but that guy just kept looking at me in the face. I had to go back. No good parent abandons their children. I figured I didn't have enough techs to get Mega Seadramon, but I find the tech criteria to be very inconsistent. Like, even though I do not have 35 technical moves discovered, I got Leomon, who also needs 35, but for some reason Mega Seadramon didn't work. So I guess it's just inconsistent. I have no idea. I cannot find a clear answer anywhere. So no matter how much I feel like I got the hang of it, there's always some unknown variable. I guess parenting doesn't have set guidelines. There's always something new to learn. But this is a game. Digimon World was fun. I enjoyed playing it quite a bit, and I may even do some post-game stuff on stream eventually when I feel like streaming. That doesn't mean soon. It's a really charming game, but it's also exhausting. Putting an effort to raise a Digimon over and over again and then watching it die over and over again is exhausting. And although it can be rewarding, it's the kind of game that would make me go insane if I didn't take ample amounts of stress breaks. So I'm gonna put Digimon World down for a moment and try to better myself. For Betamon. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you've played Digimon games before, please comment down below which ones you remember fondly or which ones you would like me to look at in the future. Other than that, if this is your first video of mine, consider subscribing, following me on social media, you know, all the junk YouTubers ask you to do. I know I haven't been posting super frequently recently, and it is totally my intention for the rest of the summer to get back in a normal posting routine. I have a lot of stuff ready to go, and I have a lot of work done for a lot of videos. So I say this with full intent on following through when I tell you, I'm tired, I'm stressed. I'll see you next week.